Hello, everybody. We're here with another fantastic and most wonderful episode of the Apex Coalition show for you all today. I am joined by my good friend Lippy and Jack and my good acquaintance Kevin Kern. Now, Jack is trying to figure out hotel Wi Fi right now, so he'll be in and out. Kern is in and out, feasting on some bird seed, and Lippy's a prepared professional. So,
As always, sir.
yeah. Kern, how are you doing today?
We are doing fantastic. We have a nice plate of games. Post gym, feeling real good.
Yeah.
I got the boys on the. I got the boys on the chat. Ready to catch up on some fantasy. I haven't been on the pod in a minute, so I'm ready to give the world and bless the league with my takes. So let's go.
That's fantastic. Well, we'll let Jack jump in here whenever he's ready and on a secure Wi-Fi.
Well, I'm on.
There we go.
I can give my quick intro of I was up this morning at 4:30. I flew to Dallas. I had work, and then I drove from Dallas, and we're talking Northwest Dallas A&F, all the way to the Houston Galleria, and I did it at 90 miles an hour just to stop at Buc-ee's, and then so I could get here to talk to you.
I mean, that's dedication right there. That's what separates this show from all the other fantasy shows out there. The quality of this panel of experts. Let's go ahead. We're just going to go and get started. I've got the standings up on the screen for everybody. Me and Monstar down there at the bottom. If you can't see us, that's probably okay. Let's start with Kern. We're going to start with your division. Now, in first place in your division, Kern, is Dustin. And just to lift up the curtain a little bit, just moments ago, you were saying he's had a cakewalk season. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, look, when you're, I can't say he's had a cakewalk season because he's not. He hasn't faced the fewest points in our division. Actually, that's been Jonah, but he's been faced with some bad luck with injuries, so can't fault him too much. But no, I mean, Dustin, look, I was speaking to you directly. You came into this league like a guardian angel from the heavens, and you took over a foul team with like seven quarterbacks. You know, you were nice enough to take it over and man that ship through a foul season. You came back. You tried again. Wait, is this his first season or second season?
This is his second season.
Third.
Second full season that he drafted the team.
Correct.
Okay, so he came in
third season, but second one
Okay.
he's actually drafted.
Gotcha. All right, so I thought so. Yeah, so he had a second year drafted, didn't do too hot. This year, you know what, Dustin? I was bitching a little bit because, and it was in our rules, the whole Darrell Henderson keeper for $4. It really grinded my gears letting you do that, but it was in our rules. It's been fixed. We're not going to have those market keeper situations anymore. But I feel like you've had a nice, juicy, like floaty season with your buoy of Derrick Henry, and you got to walk in with two loaded RBs for dirt cheap and just blow the load on all your people. Had a blast. An RB that I gave you because you ripped my ass off in at the fucking goddamn lake. So I was a little salty about that.
He did jam you pretty hard, for sure.
He jammed me. I mean, looking back, you look at a $14 D Swift versus a $3, whatever it was, Gibson, and Gibson's been kind of foul lately.
No, he
neither here nor there.
He jammed.
It gave you flexibility.
Big
So
jam.
I am very sorry. I'm very sorry, Dustin, about your Derrick Henry loss. But I think
You don't sound very sorry.
it's now time for Kern. It's now time for Kern with his over 100 points more scored to take the lead and get ahead of his ass. And I thought it was going to happen this week, but fucking Monstar, you piece of shit, has to go off and score 137 points against me, where it was, and then just fall on his ass and just continue. Like, I fucking hate Monster. Jack, you can relate. You can relate as like the only other person to walk into the fucking Monstar proximity mine. It just, you never know when it happens. Out of nowhere. Like, it's such a fucking, I knew it from weeks before. I was watching the lineup and I'm like, I'm playing Monster this week. it's gonna happen. I can see it all happen. He's gonna start fucking like he's gonna plug in some foul idiot who's just gonna go off, and sure enough, Monstar, you fucking happen to slip into the Apex that week and beat me, and then proceed to score like 60 points a week. And you couldn't even get 80 points more to beat fucking Dustin. So I'm stuck here, still at 5-3, trying to get the wild card. So yes, as of right now, I'm very content with where I'm at A&F in the division.
Yeah.
But I am extremely salty that I am not first place in my division. I'm very worked up about it. I am hot.
You could say that Monstar Jalen waddled you into a tough position. Is that fair to say?
God, you couldn't ask him to fuck me any harder.
That's awesome. Now, Kern, let me ask you this, and I'm going to get Lippy and Jack's take after this one, but Kern, we've got you and Dustin at the top of the division right now, and a really beautiful recovery by Jonah here, and Kekel, who's had a couple of unlucky weeks. So I'm framing this question in terms of you and Dustin. Give me the odds on both of you winning this division.
Well, let's look at Dustin's schedule. So, look, he lost to Eric Henry, but I mean, I like to troll him because, you know, he's in the division, but he's got Devontae Adams. He has Deontay Johnson. I mean, he's got Darrell Henderson, who's been legit. And I mean, if Gibson gets healthy, he can get rolling too. But let's see, he faces you this week. A&F, you've been a little proximity mine your goddamn self. You almost fucking blew up on me. Luckily, I had a good week, but you and Cooper Kupp and your little wide receivers and, you know, your fucking quarterback streams have been ruining playoff hopes. So
that's all I get to do this year.
Mac Jones is ruining playoff hopes with 11 points a week.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, A&F has beaten some teams, so I think that
is
he's
true.
been hot. He just Apex this week.
The first Apex ever. Yeah.
Hey, so he's on a heater. I think that this will be a nice, you know, hinge matchup right here. Is if A&F beats Dustin here, that'd be big. Considering that I beat A&F, that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
He faces, A&F, Lippy, and Neil, all teams that I have beaten. So, yeah, and this is what I said, but you know, before is division matchups are going to be really, really critical. But I think if he can get through these next three matchups with W's, which I think, I mean, Lippy's got a very strong team. Neil's got a pretty fucking strong
Dustin
team.
Beats me. There's no world Dustin beats me, Kern.
I tend to agree. If I was putting money on this, I say over the next 3 weeks, he's got an odds of winning one of those games. I think he could pull out against A&F, but I think A&F, you have a pretty strong team, dude. I mean, like, you face some shitty luck, you face a lot of points, you've got some players in your team that can score points, and then he goes into the division. He faces me without Devontae Adams. He's now going to face all the adversity that he should have faced.
Kern, the question is, okay, he wins one game. That gets him to 7 wins, though. I mean, he's probably getting 8 wins, though. And I mean, is that a wild card? Is that a wild card for him?
Could be. I mean, I think that looking at my schedule, I play Golly. This is a big matchup. I've been fucking circle jihad on my fucking schedule all year. Yeah. I would love to get
really looks really hard.
Go ahead.
This looks really hard. Washington on bye and Tampa Bay, and I can understand why you circled the calendar. This looks pretty tough.
I mean, look, it wasn't but 4 weeks ago when y'all told me it was an auto L because Swift and Lockett were on bye or some shit. I don't remember. Y'all fucking trolled me so hard for Jihad's matchup.
Your team is pretty bad, yeah.
Look, I think if I beat Jihad, I think I'm in a good spot. And then I play Hunter, who has some marquee players, but he's been facing some poor luck. I got to face Bevo, who's got the high floor and now has, you know, a nice plethora of nice startable running backs that could go either way. And then, go into the division. I think ultimately I pull out ahead. I think I get more wins over the next 3 weeks than Dustin could get. And then the division, I think, is, you know, a toss-up. I think ultimately I could see myself being head of this division going into the playoffs. And then Dustin just has the wins, though, dude. Like, he's 6-2. And like Lippy's saying, I mean, to get the wild card,
you need to have
he's a lock.
You need to have 9 wins to get the wild card, the way this is shaking up.
You think so?
Do you, though? There's only 4 teams over 500.
I think you're going to need to have 9 wins.
4 teams over 500, 8 weeks in.
Yeah, look at
9 wins.
With 6 to go.
I think you're going to need
6 weeks to go?
Yep, big time.
You think the 4-4 teams is going to be someone to go 5-1 out of there? The 2 4-1 teams? 4-4? They have to go 5-1 to end the year.
4-4.
They have to go or 6-0 to get to 9 for any of the 3 wins teams. That's not happening.
I think it's like
I think eight wins at least gets Dustin a points for tiebreak for the wild card.
I give it like
Does he win that? I don't know.
85% chance we get the wild card in our division. Because I mean, like, there's 2 4-4 teams. I'm 5-3 with 1 million points. I mean, and Dustin he has the wins. He's 3 games up on Neil, ANF, Bevo, and Hunter. That's so many wins.
A 3-win team needs to go 6-0 to end the year to even get a wild card. A 3-5 team right now.
Yeah,
and there's some possibility. Sure. And there's a possibility that like I don't beat Dustin in the standings, but I feel like my team's strong enough and I'm past enough bye weeks to where I'm at least like I just don't see a world where like me and Dustin. I just don't know. I'll let y'all talk about when y'all get to y'all's divisions, but I think this is the division that's going to kind of decide the wild card. I feel like I don't know. What if CMC comes back and gets healthy though, and just like, I mean, maybe Cornman? I don't know. It's tough, very tough. Dustin, you have a noble team. I've shown you a whole lot. I mean, you've had a really good season. If you can sustain the Derrick Henry woes and make some like very savvy trade moves or like do something, then you will have then shit. I mean, you can definitely do it. You got the players to do it. But yeah. I think we've ranted enough about my division A&F. Ultimately, I think it's going to come down to Dustin and I. I feel confident that I can at least match his wins and have the point total to supersede it and get the number 2 or 3 spot, whatever, however it shakes out between Libby and I, 2 or 3, and get the division lead. But yeah, like Libby's saying, I think 6-2, it's just so hard with the probabilities of wins and losses and matchups, like. Because Bevo and Hunter have to face Jihad and each other, and then Neil has to play Lippy and ANF. I just feel like it's a very I think it's a everyone who's 3 and 5 outside of our division are facing such an uphill battle. It's going to be a very brutal next few weeks.
Just a side note, because I like to look ahead to Thanksgiving, and we are in November now. We have a beautiful slate of Thanksgiving games. Saints versus Bills to end the day is going to be lovely. That's all.
Well,
I forgot we had a fucking Saints game on Thanksgiving. Let's go, Libby. Hell yeah.
Saints versus Bills at 7:20. It's going to be great.
Oh, I'll be there. Hell yeah.
And you have Bears Lions to start the day. A little David Montgomery versus Swift. I mean, should be okay. What's the midday game?
Kern, what I'm really hoping is that you just don't win another game.
Hey, enough. Look, I'll say one more thing. I scored 110 points with 11 points from my quarterback and no points from my defense in a really shitty Stephon Gilmore covering Kyle Pitts game. My floors are so high. I've never been more confident in my team in years. I feel like my team is the best in the fucking league right now. I have enough boom to put
That's
people
so surprising
in
that you think that, Kurt. I can't believe that. You think your team's the best.
Ain't Look at my quarterback, my RB1, my RB2, my RB3. Kurt, y'all been hating on my RB3. Kurt. Look at my 2 fucking stud wide receivers. Tyler Lockett as the wide receiver 3 when Russ is back. Let's fucking go, ANF.
Kern, you lost to Monstar. You lost to Monstar, Kern. All right?
I did.
Your team is fucking terrible. Monstar
is a better
team than you.
I got to finish my din-din. Move on to another division.
You got 3 other teams to talk about, Kern.
Yeah.
I got to talk about all these motherfuckers?
No, not just you. I'm tired of listening to you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm all loud pre-workout boys, and I'm rambling now. I haven't been on the podcast in a while, so I know I'm taking up a lot of airtime. So
No.
Y'all break everything else down.
Karen, everything you said was wonderfully terrible. What I will ask is for some more objective views on Dustin's team, because this is going to sound like a pretty big reach here. But now that Derrick Henry is out for the foreseeable future, probably through fantasy playoffs. Realistically, he's done for the year. Do y'all think this bumps Tannehill at all? Or is this a negative for as a whole?
Matter.
It doesn't matter?
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. That passing offense has just been pretty terrible this year.
I mean, maybe it secures Tannehill's floor a little better, so he doesn't get like those 12-point weeks.
Yeah, because I know one of your criticisms the last time, Lippy, was that he can't have Henry and Tannehill both go off, basically.
Well, my point was your QB and then your best skill player, your best two players on your team.
Yeah.
And if you look at Dustin, his best two players are going to be Tannehill and Henry. He just lost his best player, though, which was Henry, the RB1.
Yeah.
So, now his best player is Tannehill and Adams, I guess.
Who's on the COVID list, right? Yeah.
I think it has to boost the passing offense. I think that the whole team is just going to take a step back, though. I mean, like my initial reaction was like, "Oh, AJ Brown's going to get 1 million targets," but at the same time, it's like you lose that play action pass and the Derrick Henry involvement really boosts his production. I mean, I think the talent's going to win out, and he'll still get enough volume to keep his elite floor. But I mean, poor Titans, dude. It's going to be a mess. I mean, I think that you have Adrian Peterson in a first year pass catcher back. I mean, it's going to be that's not. It'll be tough. It'll be very tough, I think.
Well,
but yeah, probably more passing volume. I feel like.
I was going to ask Jack. Yeah,
that's not APA.
What is a veteran with a skilled mindset like Dante Foreman bring to Tannehill and the Titans, Jack? Because I know you've done a lot of research on Mr. Foreman.
So one thing he does bring is more receiving touchdowns than 2019 leading receiver MT since 2020. So that is one aspect of the game when you're thinking about the ability to power run plus also catch passes. That we seem to enjoy on this podcast, and he brings that elite level of production to the Titans from the practice squad. So that's where I'll leave it on Dante Foreman, and then y'all can just get ready to get McNickled to death.
1.25 Achilles heels as well.
Let me ask real quickly, Jack, about because I know you did a lot of looking into the route trees of Dante Foreman. When he does run routes, does he only run slants like Michael Thomas, or does he have a more varied approach?
He has a more varied approach to routes.
We have to stop talking about Dante Foreman.
He is not slanty in.
Yeah.
He is not slanty in.
Yeah, well, Dante Foreman would probably be the best player on the Saints. Let's go ahead and talk about K. Cole's team, who I got lucky, and the Cardinals had a really bad game, and I beat this week. I still think this team, if, unlike Curran says he wins out or whatever the fuck he thinks is going to happen, I still think K. Cole's team has a realistic, and with Jonas, we'll get to him in just a second, but I think this team has a real shot if to just explode like it has done multiple times this year. And sure, depth could be an issue. Maybe we can just go ahead and say definitively it is. But I think this team could blow up and just score so many fucking points that he could very well make himself into the wild card. Am I crazy for thinking that about K. Cole, or does anyone else agree?
Kyler and Hopkins have to do better, but the J-Rob injury, it's possible he could shock some people.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kyler and Hopkins get hot together, he could easily shock some people because, that's a lot of points, and he's still got some nice players on top of that. Yep. Debo's averaging over 100 yards a game.
This is going to be the best year of Debo's career. Yeah.
Look, K. Cole is 4-4, and it's definitely not rude with the Kyler woes and the James Robinson woes to say that 7-7 is the most likely outcome here. He'll shock some people, but I think he'll shock some people and just maybe being a thorn in the side in the division race. Now that's not me sitting from a better position at 3-5 saying, you're 4-4, you're not going to do anything. It's just simply part of K. Cole getting to where he's been so far is that he had Kyler Murray and Hopkins go off. Debo has been great for him at part-time that he's had him, and things have fallen his way whenever he gets victories, and it's only led to 4-4. So if there's some regret built in there, right? It's probably not outside to say 7-7 is most likely, 8-6 possible. 6-8 possible. Just like, their 6-8 is a very, likely outcome for a lot of other teams in this league. Much less so for Keiko, but tough to see him competing for a playoff spot given the current roster setup.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree with anything you just said, Jack. The only thing that really, and like I said, I think you just painted a very accurate picture of what could happen. But, I mean, he's through what could easily be said as one of the worst bye weeks that anyone's had so far. He really only has the week 12 bye to look forward to at this point as a problem. So we're just going to pencil that down as a loss, because that's when the Cardinals are out. But I don't know. I just think that with all but 1 week, I mean, we probably just saw the worst game from the Cardinals we'll see all year in terms of fantasy, and probably football. I just think there's a real chance. Moving on to another team that I think has a chance, depending on, and I think this one is less guaranteed. No offense, Jonah. I think that this is going to take some more stuff to go right. Is Jonah's team, but it was kind of like y'all were saying. If CMC gets healthy, it is actually CMC, right? Because if he's inhibited or they limit his snaps or something weird happens, but if CMC is full strength, Jonah could really fuck some people up.
Really can.
Yeah. Lippy, as someone who traded for CMC beforehand, what is Jonah's ceiling?
I mean, his ceiling is going 5-1 on the year and getting 9 wins. I mean, realistically, he could easily get 4-2 seems possible if he gets a healthy CMC in a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, 4-2, 8 wins. That's going to be real close to a wild card. He's got hope, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one to watch because I really think, and not to dismiss the other pieces on your team, Jonah, but I kind of feel like this one does, the coin's on the edge, and whatever performance you get out of CMC determines if it's heads or tails, man. So we'll see about that. Let's move on to Golly, who is the current leader and owner of the best record and king of all Helgas.
Some are calling him Juggerjeet fraud.
Oh my goodness!
No,
the hating movement on Golly has come back around.
The turkeys and the pigeons and the peacocks are all outside of Falafel Stadium, just waving banners, just shouting Juggerjeet fraud at the top of their lungs. We're going to march in with no DeAndre Swift and just slay. Just leave scorch earth. We're going to make a statement, A&F. Right. Statement game right now.
Golly.
Let's go.
Golly, I'm really sorry you have to listen to this because this shit flinger seems to think he's just going to stomp you. And I hate to say this, but Kern, you're probably my lock of the week. Not even that we're really doing those this week. But yeah, you're probably my lock of the week, Kurt.
I love Golly's team a whole lot. It's not that I'm dogging his team. It's just like I feel like he's 7-1. Like he's got to lose some games, and I mean, like on a week without Brady and McLaurin and Mike Williams, kind of come back down to earth. He could pop back off, and Kelsey and the Mahomes and the Chiefs have kind of been shitty lately, and somehow Tyreek keeps getting 1,000 targets. So I mean, I feel like Kelsey may not do too hot. He's starting. Fucking Hoagie Herbert, and I mean, it's gonna suck playing Jamar Chase. I've been so happy watching him catch fucking moon bombs, and he's just gonna against Cleveland. It's gonna be a shootout. Oh, he's gonna start fucking. Oh, he's got Joe Burrow too. I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a lock, but I mean, Joe Burrow in a shootout.
The Joe Burrow is gonna be so funny against you, Curran. It's going to make me laugh every single time. I might tune in.
Connection?
I might literally turn off Red Zone just to watch that game and laugh at you.
Yeah, I mean, it's full circle that I've got, all my pride in the world against, like, just absolutely A&F nailing Jamar Chase out the gates. Just, you couldn't hit a hammer on a nail harder. And it would be very poetic justice for him to come against me in week 9 and just drop moon bombs on my ass, like 3 moon bombs, like the Joe Burrow Chase stack. There's a possibility. Look, there's a reason he's 7-1. I'm just hyped I get to play him. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I think I got a very hot team. and it would be nice to beat him with a key player on bye. I think it'd be a very nice adversity look, a hinge game, a statement before the playoffs. But going to be tough. It's going to be a tough matchup.
Kern, I didn't know if you knew this, Kern. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow actually played together, so they've got a lot of chemistry. That kind of has been showing up in the last couple of weeks. I'm now going to I'm going to flip my lock of the week to Golly being my lock of the week. There is not a single chance that Golly loses this game, and anyone that thinks that it's possible is dumb. Golly's my lock of the week, and that's the only lock of the week. That's the definitive lock of the week of this show. Curran, that's officially your lock of the week, too. Moving on to a better team than Curran's, but a little bit worse than Golly's, are Hunters and Jacks, tied at 3-5 in this division. Now, boys, there has been a hate fest circulating around Dr. McClendon's team. And, Lippy, you just took care of business against Dr. McClendon. Talk us through the hate for the Good Doctor's team.
So, Jonah got lucky a few years back and won it all. Hunter got even luckier. He faced Ben Watson in the title game. Was it stupid of me to start him? Yes. And ever since then, he's just been riding the coattails of this win, acting like he's some fantasy savant and he knows football. The dude's a dumbass. Oh, Hunter, your team
Oh, my
sucks.
goodness. Oh, my
Your
goodness.
team's awful, Hunter. I mean, Hunter, my two running backs in defense put up 5 points and you still lost by 11. Your team is awful.
Oh, my.
You just go ahead and tank, sir. It's over.
The
Jack
-6
also
from
destroyed him last year. Jack might have broken the man last year, honestly.
in
Jack
the
might have
championship
broken him
last
in the
year.
title game. He might have broken him.
Oh, my.
Look, this all stems. I was very, very hateful in the chat. Hunter, I'm not sorry. But
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
what I will say is just being 1-7 since the nut that was conjured, and like every time he brings it up, right? Like he's never gotten anyone to make it with him until Lippy was like, "Hey, I'll do it." So good for you, Lippy. And now Hunter is, I don't want to make an insensitive comment about his mute approach to our fantasy football chat, but I'm just saying, like, maybe if Hunter just wasn't such a liar and didn't rely on that in 2017 to be who he was, like, things would be different. But we don't know.
Wow.
Since then, he's lost 6 straight games to me, and Lippy is making him eat a cookie with some extra nuts in it. Walnuts or something different, I'll let you, the listener, decide.
Kern, as an objective man of science who's not in this bet magic, does nut magic exist?
I'm going to go ahead and cut you off, and I'm going to go ahead and keep piling this shit on Hunter and just keep it going because this train's hot. Now, I like to call – all right, so I like to judge and hate on what I like to call lazy analysis. The laziest analysis you can do, A&F, going into the draft is I'm going to spend all my money on I'm going to scroll to the tippy top, and I'm going to find the 2 best running backs, and that's my strategy. I'm going to blow all my money. No, first I'm going to pound 7 milk punches. And then I'm going to buy the most expensive running backs, all of them.
Well, hold on. He didn't buy Henry. Let's give the man some credit. He didn't buy Henry. He went Dalvin Cook and
Did he buy Henry? He surely paid more for these motherfuckers than for Henry, though.
I think Dalvin
Henry
Cook
was 73.
Cook was
the most.
Yeah, a lot.
And then
so he spent the most on Cook. Even so, he spent $147 on Cook and Eckler, and then went ahead and took fucking just Chris Carson, who, look, I hope you get better, Chris Carson. I've said enough about you. You're just not it. And you look at the guys on his roster right now, A&F, and I mean, why is Sammy Watkins on his roster? Like, why is fucking DJ Dallas there? Like, what is...
Now, to be fair...
Hold on a second. what is Lev Bell doing on his roster? Like, who are these people?
Lev
Why are they
Bell's
there?
a little bit
Just
weird.
as lazy
Yeah.
as fuck. And I love you, Hunter, but I mean, dude, like, if your strategy coming this year was, I'm gonna take the quarterback I had last year and keep my, Justin Jefferson just fell in your lap, which is beautiful, but you somehow fucked up a $2 Justin Jefferson, and you're 3-5, and it's tough, dude. It's real tough. I'm rooting for you, but I mean, I think you came in and you scribbled down your artwork, and got outside the lines a little bit, and you're kind of in a sloppy mess right now. So, yeah, I mean, you should cover your nuts all over a cookie and eat it, and hopefully get out of this.
Hey, quick question: has anyone ever made an astute point about Hunter and $2 keepers?
You had plenty of time, sir.
I've heard before.
I can swear there is a leading fantasy football podcast that made a comment about it, but I'm just not sure.
Okay, well, so let me try and devil's advocate this. Let me start by saying, yes, you could argue that some of the people on the roster are clowns or clown-like. But the waiver wire is really pretty thin. This is a half compliment to the league. I think the waivers have become incredibly competitive in this league. I mean, it's pretty slim pickings out there.
Competitive $21 bids.
I mean, and to his credit, he's kept Jeff Wilson, who's coming back pretty soon, presumably. I don't really know about Sammy Watkins, and I really don't know about Lev Bell. But
I'm just scrolling through waivers right now, and not even considering like the hot names right now, like AP or these guys. But there's like 15 names I see I'd rather have my roster besides Sammy Watkins and Lev Bell.
Yeah,
that I would have got that he could have gotten for free on Sunday.
I mean, let's give him some credit though. Dearness Johnson was a great pickup. No one else beat him out on that bid, and he took him, and he's been a good pickup. No, he didn't start him this week. Wow, would that have made the difference?
You put some good sauce on a shitty ass chicken sandwich from school. It's still shitty, Alexander. His team sucks. Sorry, Hunter.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, Higbee hasn't done anything for him, but lots of teams have real shit tight ends right now.
Well, no, I'm sorry. That's another terrible point. Gesicki and Knox were on the waiver wire in week 4, and I got Gesicki. You got Knox.
I mean, yeah, Knox worked out,
and so did Gesicki's the tight end 4.
Yeah, don't you love how I kept Gesicki for just long enough for him to start doing great?
Yeah, you did.
I might get to play Kittle this week though. That would be exciting. I don't get to play Ridley anymore, but I might get to play Kittle. I
think Hunter has a pretty alright team on paper. He's got enough bang. He just gotta. I mean, he hasn't made a lot of moves besides busting nuts on Ernest Johnson, and I mean, he kind of just drafted this team and just been kind of coasting with it. I mean, he could have made some trades. I mean, has he made any trades this year?
No,
I don't.
I think he's just kind of coasting.
Hunter hasn't. No.
Which doesn't mean you have to make trades, but I mean, like, if you start falling this far behind, like, if I was 3-5, I would have made at least 5 trades by now. Which is I'm very active when I start falling behind.
I think Hunter's more of a conservative trader, kind of like Golly. I think it's pretty tough, but that doesn't. I mean, that's not to say like, oh, more trades is always good. But
I do think Eckler is the RB1 this week. Juicy matchup.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. I think, like we've all kind of said, myself included, at 3-5, it is just going to be about impossible for the 3-5s to make playoffs this year. It's going to be really tough, or rather, we certainly don't control our own destinies, and we're going to need some stuff to break our way, almost assuredly. So
3-5 teams got to go 6-0. I'd say 9 wins, like Jack said.
Because all of us are pretty behind in points. I think Hunter is actually the highest point total 3-5 team, or is it Neil? It's Neil. But okay, so second place in terms of points for 3-5s. I mean, you're still going to need 6 wins with the point totals we've got.
Damn, Neil's lost 4 straight since being 3-1.
Yeah, that's really
wow. He put up 155 point and lost.
That's really sad.
Yeah, we had to give him some poetic justice that week.
I feel bad for Neil. Like, that's just a good example of probably why this league needs a game against the median scoring.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Fuck off, man. Get out of here.
Yes.
No, you
Yes.
face the Brood, you face the fuck Magic, and you live with the chips on your shoulder.
Yes.
Like, I will lose to Monster all day. You just have to fucking live with it.
Exactly.
We're not gonna add bumpers. We're not gonna put bumpers.
Face fuck Magic in that. Like,
No, we're not gonna put fucking bumpers up on the fucking bowling lane.
It's not
Yes,
bumpers.
it is bumpers. It's literally bumpers, Jack.
It's literally
No, it's
bumpers.
not.
It's hedging.
No, it's not.
It's hedging your unfortunate week. Just do
Yeah.
better.
It's not bumpers. It's
You don't.
it's anchoring. It's anchoring all the Dustins of the world that get 86-point victories.
Kind of like bumpers. Yeah.
No, that's not a bumper. It's an anchor.
Well, let's go to Bumper Boys team. Jack, you're 3-5. Give us the prognosis for your squad.
Well, I think I gave the prognosis a while ago that it was not going great. It seems to have gone slightly better. The Leonard Fournette experiment has 2019 shades of somehow working voodoo. And that would just be great if Fournette materialized into something that's actually worth more than $9 somehow. That was certainly not the expectation at the time. And so I'm very fortunate to have Fournette at, the rookie running backs doing well. Trey Sermon has been relegated to Waterboy. Very expensive Waterboy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Cheat Code has not been cheating the past 2 weeks. So that's made life incredibly tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who has more touchdowns than Cheat Code over the last 2 weeks?
Alfred Morris.
Is it Cheat Code or is it Davis Mills?
It's definitely Davis Mills over the last 2 weeks. Because Curran, for anyone to throw shade at quarterback play, it's certainly not Kevin Curran, who has been rotating Lamar Jackson and Hurts, who have done worse. So I don't want to hear it.
I've started Lamar Jackson every single week.
I started. Yeah, and he's done worse. So thank you. But
he's got a bye week.
Yeah, that's worse.
No points scored, Curran. No points scored.
Right now. You're fifth right now. He's fifth in scoring, and Lamar's seventh with a bye week.
Again, worse.
Yes, so much worse. Yeah, look, I have Tyreek Hill. I need him to fucking keep it up.
It's worse. It just is. All right?
It's just objectively worse with his bye week playing Xbox. He scored less points than fucking 13 points he scored last week.
Yes. Worse.
Yes.
Look, we can run the analysis. I'm pretty sure he's out cheat coded you at the starting QB slot 6 of 8 weeks this year.
I mean,
you've got my attention. Hold on, you've got my attention. Hold on, I'm gonna see if you're right.
Well, let's.
Oh, you got him by 1 point. You got him by point. All right, so cheat code average points per game with the bye week included. Cheat code is beating Lamar by 0.2 points. That is annoying, but it's going to get better.
Yep. So that is room for positive regression. Look, we are happy to have added Boston Scott and proactively added Jeremy McNichols like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was like, that's just one of those like real fly-by-wire, what would be the most valuable handcuff that you could find on waivers if someone got hurt. And it was like, that doesn't seem like a bad idea. And it is currently worked out from a luck perspective. Now, we have not seen one game of Jeremy McNichols, so we cannot say with any certainty that that's going to do something. Look, everything has gone poorly with the T. Higgins and really just any other, kind of picks throughout the year. Hawkinson has not been bad. Godwin's not been bad, but it's just not enough to win games.
They haven't been great. Yeah.
It's just certainly like, it's just kind of like your standard mediocre fantasy, right? Like, I feel like, Steve from accounting built this team, and I'm just kind of living with it. So,
we do stand that we have a good upcoming keeper situation, and hopefully, look, very candidly, I hope Michael Thomas was going to be back earlier. I thought that was a pick that was going to materialize into like immediate week 7 playing time, and that's even more going down the hole right now. It seems like ANF, did you put Danny Dimes on the trade block just now?
Yeah.
And Justin Fields.
And Mac Jones.
And Mac Jones.
I've got a lot of
I think
fucking
he's trying
cheat
to-
codes.
He's trying to poke at you, Bevo, to see if you want to get a little cheat code swap.
I'll trade
Twin Bros.
Mahomes for Danny Dimes straight up. I'll give you that deal.
There's my response.
Fields of Macaroni Dimes. That's a good team name.
You should keep them all on your roster, and then
They're staying, buddy. They're
Good.
staying. They're not leaving.
Look, here's the prognosis. I got super lucky to beat Neil this week. Like, Neil and I texted back and forth, and it was like I literally set the perfect roster for the group of people that I have right now. And can't remember who was on bye last week, if I even had anyone on bye. But that, and he literally started Slayton, who got a 0 burger, nice goose egg that made it so that I won. Had he started anyone else in his flex, he would have won. So, sorry to do that to you, Neil. Keep fighting the good fight.
I can't believe Slayton did you like that, Neil. I'm going to have to stop wearing his jersey.
I think of Bevo, if you're able to at least break 500 and get out of the double-digit rankings, you can still go into the next season being like, you know what, I'm playing with my house money of my elite season, and last year was kind of a down year. But and I think you do have at least additional pieces to get out of that hole. So you've already climbed up one spot. You're now 10th place. If you can get up to like 7th or 8th or like 7th or 6th place, then at least you can say, you know what, I was right on the outskirts and I was looking at.
Let's be real. Like the number of like elite seasons in this league is like if you ever get over 10 wins, like that's nearly. I think that's only happened like
it's very hard.
Regular season, right? I think that's
4
only
or 5, 4 times maybe.
Yeah. So, like, call me when you get to 13, I guess, Curran.
Yes.
So, but I will continue to ride that wave. You have not been on, but I gave you full credit last time of like you're very accurate. Like all these losses hurts. You remember just setting your fantasy lineup and being like, all right, well, there's another W. Looking down at your phone, and you're like, oh, Derrick Henry scored 43 points today. That's pretty cool. Neat. That just doesn't happen anymore, and it's not fun. So hopefully some things change, and hopefully I somehow go, ideally, it'd be cool to go 7-7 or 8-6 somehow, but that requires, I guess that's kind of possible. Like if I count Hunter and Timo as wins, not that I should count Timo as a win. Hunter, who knows what he's going to have to put in his mouth in order to
oh god
all that play, but still.
Well, speaking of Timo, let's move on to him and close out y'all's division. Timo's had, obviously he did lose this week, but 97 points isn't the worst performance in the world. Certainly better than some of mine. Really brutal start to the season. Has had a couple of good weeks since. I think unfortunately the recovery, and he's made some good moves, but Timo, if you're listed, man, kind of what we've been saying is just the win totals are really going to be, at this point, the cement is starting to settle, and being at 2 wins is just going to make it a really uphill battle. Does anyone? We've got 2 2-win teams. We've got Monstar and Timo. Is anyone giving Timo a shot at 2-6, or is this getting pretty close to closed?
I think it's unfortunately over. We've already gone over why it's super possible for like we've already gone over how 3 and 5. I think the phrase was you don't control your own destiny. Technically you do. Like Timo is officially does not control his own destiny territory. Like needs to win out and needs help. It's just a super tough spot to be, like because as you think about that, right? Like Timo needs, just he has to have Golly lose so many games. Like that's, I guess, a chance, and then he has to get to 8-6.
There's no way that he's I don't think there's any. It'd be so hard for Guy to lose grip of the first place of his division right now. I think it would be
That's
for the
near
wild
impossible.
card. Yeah, it would
Near
be for the
impossible.
wild card. He would need the entire K-Cole corner to implode. He would need Jack and Hunter's team to get on airplanes and crash, 30,000 feet above, the Pacific. And everyone on the Chiefs on the Chiefs catches AIDS, and he would need a lot of things to happen for him to beat out his division mates not named Golly, and then have everyone else just fall to shit. But hey, look, crazier things have happened, and I mean,
crazier things happened than everyone on Hunter and Jack's team dying in a plane crash in the entire Kansas City Chiefs getting AIDS. What is crazier than that, Kern?
Look, it's morbid imagery, and I don't make the rules enough. But look, crazy things happen in this world. I mean, look, Henry Ruggs got in a crazy car crash and is going to prison now. I mean,
yeah,
things can blink before your eyes. Who knows? What if that was Tyreek Hill? I'd be fucked. If Tyreek Hill got in a car accident and killed somebody, I'd be like, fuck me. That's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The entire Chiefs.
And he just walked in and heard me talking about someone getting in a car accident and said that was an insensitive joke.
Did she hear you say that the entire Chiefs are getting AIDS? Did she hear that? What did she think of that, Kurt?
I don't know. I don't think she's a very big fan of my hypotheticals, so stop talking.
Let's move on to the division that should take the least time. Lippy, you're 6-2. Your future is bright. Let's instead of talking about what you have to do to make playoffs, talk us through what has to happen for you to not make playoffs.
I mean, 3 games up on you with 100 points and points for it would. I mean,
everyone on the Chiefs
and
has
one
to
of
get
his
AIDS.
L's.
Yeah.
And one of his L's, which is a very sad move on his part, and it knocked him back at the points scored column. But he played an entire week of bye week players.
Yeah, now I don't have my quarterback or any wide receivers on bye the rest of the year.
Yeah, he just rides the rest of the season with all his studs. So I mean, he's got no woes. He gets to face all of y'all with bye week players. Lippy's in a prime spot to just. Lippy, you could probably go on cruise control right now. Like you and Golly are the safest people right now. So I mean, y'all just live it up. There's no fucking way you lose your division. There's no.
Yeah,
way.
we're just waiting for playoffs. I mean,
yeah, I don't really see.
There's always a chance, but we're waiting for playoffs.
Yeah. Well, let's move over to Neil, who's gotten pretty unlucky. He doesn't have the highest points against, but he's got a heck of a nice points for being 3-5. He's had a couple of heartbreaking losses. I think the kind of synopsis that we've been preaching, kind of the majority of this show for these teams on the lower end of the playoff bubble, is Neil and I kind of share the same fate, right? We have to win out realistically, and most likely we'll need a few things to break our way. I think it's going to be really tough for either of us to knock again, because first of all we have to beat each other, and then the Monster is going to have some great games. We'll get to him in just a second. And then we'll both have to beat Lippy. So it's going to be really tough. We've got some interdivisional games that are going to be tough for us still. I don't know. I think the best.
He's got good players. But like Antonio Brown's hurt. I mean, Galladay's hurt. I mean, he just doesn't. It comes down to the bang. Not even my roster, but look at everyone else's rosters in contention right now. It's like they have loaded rosters. And I mean, he's got a very good roster, but it's like, is it enough to get the edge on everyone who's in contention right now and then penetrate into that tier to get the wild card? It's very tough.
I must say, we were very high on Darren Waller after week 1 with his 19 targets.
Yeah.
I was so high on Darren Waller. I thought he was the best.
5 catches max.
So many leagues.
Oh, I mean, we all thought he was going to be tight end 1 like after that week 1.
Yeah.
And it's just been very sad since.
Yeah.
Well, Henry Ruggs is dealing with some woes right now, and I mean, maybe it's too soon to talk
He
about
is
it.
dealing with some woes. Yeah. He just killed
Maybe it's too
somebody.
soon to talk
Yeah.
I mean, look,
killed somebody.
there's always.
Shit.
I mean, he's dealing with some intense woes.
Yeah. Big woes.
But Darren Waller could be dealing with some positive EV woes. So I think that who knows? Maybe those 5-60 yard bombs to Ruggs get targeted to his 5 and outs to Darren Waller. So who knows?
And
Curran, you're suggesting that he become like pen pals with Ruggs and Smith and just be like, "Hey, thanks, bud. Needed that new contract."
Yeah.
Like man, those 6 extra targets a game are really coming in clutch, man. Like I really appreciate you taking one for the team.
Lippy, you we kind of faded off your team a little too fast. Not because I don't want to talk about your team anymore, but really just more. Do you know how much a Portillo's combo is for an Italian beef?
Italian beef? I'm gonna be honest, never had one from Portillo's. Always get the hot dog, sir.
Like I'm just wondering, like what you would want to bet on this week. Like what's a good combo meal in Chicago that needs to be like a randomly weird.
Oh, Lippy's playing Jack. Oh fuck yeah! What are you talking about?
But Jack's got so many bye weeks, it doesn't feel fair. Jack, we'll give you a spread. We'll give you we'll give you an 8.
Oh, he does have a lot of bye weeks. Yeah.
Libby, here's what I want. I want an outright bet where if you win by 20, I'll pay you, and if I win outright, you pay me. But if it's like a spread in between there, it's a no pay. Right? Like we're not
14.7.
We're just trying to like.
It's if I win by more than 14.7, I win.
14.7.
14.7.
16.3.
Deal.
Done.
16.
Portillo's.
Yeah, Portillo's. What's
Libby
dog special there?
Yeah, $7.
It's so sad, because I'm looking at
it, and let's make the bet for $11.32.
Oh
okay.
God.
Done.
I'm looking at the matchup, and poor Jack has Michael Thomas in his wide receiver 2 spot. He's not playing. Just move him out of there, Jack.
Yeah, it's time to elevate no one because there's not another rosterable receiver.
Who are you trying to fool with Michael Thomas Sunday at 12 against Atlanta?
Jack, I think you need to pick up another receiver.
That's a good, astute analysis.
But Jack's having some wide receiver woes.
Jack, if you need a receiver, I'd love to give you all my receivers.
Lippy has told me that he would love to have Godwin and hockey. So, that's something that might happen later in the week. But I told him I wouldn't trade him until Sunday so he can't flip the players. Because
I've never been known to do that. Never once.
Never.
No, he wants that Godwin Hawkinson post bye. That's what he's aiming for.
Oh, of course.
Lippy's savvy. He's not gonna trade that shit.
I mean, Curran, I already have all my receivers post bye besides Cooks.
Yeah, but you have Mike Gesicki not post bye. You would love to. You would love to have us
post bye.
He's kind of fucked up though.
Yeah, he's pretty fucked up.
Let's close out with me and Monstar. My team, very similar prognosis to Neil, except even further behind in the points for. The one thing I will say, when Clyde does come back in his hobbled self, that'll hurt Neil a little bit because he's getting some great start out of old Daryl. At least serviceable work. I don't think any of them will be serviceable once Clyde comes back, so it's just a big shithole for both of us. Maybe I get Kareem to come back in a few weeks. Ridley's dealing with some shit that's pretty serious, so hopefully he gets better, but I'm not counting on him playing any more games for me. Gonna come down to Macaroni Jones and the receiver boys, which are okay. Yeah. The receiver boys are okay, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We've had to.
I think you're nobly trying to get above 500 and just have a nice noble season, and maybe get some legacy points somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
New legacy points from Dustin. That'd be very exciting.
Moving on to Monstar. Similar
proximity mine.
Yeah.
Look at him, Najee Harris. He has Najee Harris, Thielen, Waddle, Goddard now is booming. He's gonna get some dubs. He's gonna rack up some dubs, and it's going to be very annoying. Who's he play? He's playing. All right. He's gonna drop a fat proximity mine on K Cole because he's got the fucking Cardinals on bye. He's gonna drop a fat proximity mine on. God, what if he beats Jihad? Oh, that's a big one. What if he beats Jihad? I mean, it's not gonna matter, but like that would just be like fucking Monstar, dude. God, you. Jack feels.
I would argue the same way that you win 7 games in a row, you lose 7 games in a row. Like, possible.
That would be such a fuck up. That'd be such a slip.
Well,
if Saquon comes out, and if it comes out like Saquon's like fucked up, and it's like just him starting Devontae. I mean, he would need Mike Williams to really turn back into a pumpkin. And if Kelsey just keeps, maybe Kelsey's not a focal point anymore and has finally hit his, 32, 33-year-old, limit. He's just not who he was. I mean, it's not out of the question, Jack. That would really suck for Golly. I don't know. It's such a fucking advantage.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Golly wins that game. No offense, Monstar. Kind of what we were saying about Timo. Being at the 2-win mark, it's just gonna take a miracle, and it would be the miracle. Timo and Monstar, if either of y'all get into playoffs, we'll make a 30 for 30 happen on this YouTube. And if that happens, I know everyone will want y'all to actually win the fucking championship. But it's probably
people forget them. Don't forget.
Yeah.
No, do you think? I have a question for all y'all. So the top teams right now are Golly, Lippy,
and
Dusty, and myself.
No, Dustin. He's the top team.
Playoff team. I know, but I'm saying all right. The 4 playoff teams projection right now are those 4 teams. What do y'all think the actual power ranks? If you could power rank these teams and include even the guys in the hunt, who would it be?
I'd probably put
Lippy.
I'd put Kern at the 12 seed.
Lippy, I'm gonna give you some credit. I put you ahead of Jihad. I think Jihad has a good team. I think your team is substantially better. And I think there's a case to be made between me and Jihad. We'll find out this week. I think I have a fucking loaded fucking roster. I am so hot and bothered about my team. I look at it and I get really excited.
I'd probably go Lippy, Golly, Dustin, Kern. And that's if I don't put Jack, Hunter, and Neil ahead of Kern.
I mean, it's clearly Kern, Dustin. I mean, top division. It's like the SEC. They just beat each other up, and then Golly, and then Lippy. We're the Big Ten. I mean,
Lippy, I actually disagree. I think you're clearly the number one. I would pick you to win the championship right now.
That's not
the number one, Lippy. You are.
Lippy, it's yours to lose, basically.
Oh no, we're not going to say that.
I mean, if anything goes wrong at this point, it's your fault.
Take Josh Allen over Lamar. I would take Chubb over my running backs. I would take fucking who else do you got? You got other people. You got Montgomery. Actually,
wait, you'll trade Chubb for JT right now? I'll trade Chubb for JT right now.
Actually, I won't. I'm lying. I'm just trying to hype you up. I wouldn't do that. I would take JT and Swift over all your running backs, but I think that you have better quarterbacks and wide receivers. Maybe. I don't know. It's tough. I fucking love I'm trying to be biased. I fucking love my squad, boys. Do not let me in the playoffs.
Kurt, you lost to
Monstar.
You lost to Monstar.
Hey,
you did
do not let this squad in the playoffs.
Kurt.
Do not let it get in the playoffs. Oh, four rings is going to start just throbbing in your sleep. Dream of it.
Kurt, your team's not winning another game.
But 4 rings.
Are we actually going to power rank teams, or are we just going to look at each other in the mirror here?
Yeah.
Y'all can do it. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely Lippy, Kern, Golly, Dustin, Jonah, Neil, K. Cole, myself, Hunter, ANF, Timo, T-Less.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have enough time left to go in and about that, but I really think K. Cole's being underrated there. Let's
Kickle has a really good team. It's just like, I mean, he's got it's Elliott Robinson, Hopkins, Samuel, and Kirk. But I mean, you got to look at the rest of the roster. I mean, Landry, Ertz, and Emmanuel Sanders just isn't going to do it.
Well, let's go ahead and close out with this. Instead of power ranking each team and debating on it, let me ask this: is anyone expecting the division leader, other than K. Cole's corner, to change?
No, not a chance.
No. Okay. All right. So then the real question is, is Curran going to win the division or is Dustin? Is anyone expecting Curran or Dustin to not get the wild card?
I'm not saying I don't expect it. I just do think that the way that division is set up is that you have a high likelihood of a 8-6 team at the end of the day. Like
Sure.
There. So if the second place is 8-6, it's just dependent on how many points they have over the back half of this season.
Sure. Absolutely.
So the question is, can Dustin go 3-3 the rest of the year to get 9 wins? That's the
what's
question.
What's fucked up is K. Cole and Corman do have enough studs to go off, and I have enough, there's enough variance of football in general to where, Dustin and I could both just fucking look at this. Like, we could look at each other with our dictators in our hands in 3 weeks and be like, wow, we're fucking both sub 500 now somehow, and we're fucking screaming at the walls while Cornman and K. Cole fight for the fucking head, I'd be so triggered you couldn't find words. You could have a whole episode about it if you want to. But
Dustin gets K. Cole without the Cardinals, though.
That's true.
Dustin's gonna get yeah.
And I get him without fucking Adams, and I get so-and-so. Like, we're all just going to devour each other. It's going to be... I'm going to be... Yeah, like, I'll be number one in the division, like, fucking, like, 7-6 or whatever it ends up falling out to with, like, 1 win above 500. Like, that's probably what's going to happen.
I'll say this. This is my verdict on that and what's going to happen there. Dustin, I really hate to say this, and I love the Karen, but I do think you win the division, Karen, but I think K. Cole gets the wild card out of everybody. That's my prediction.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Wow. I would pick, K. Cole, whenever you listen to this podcast, feel free to text or call. I think you finished dead last in that division, K. Cole.
Oh, wow.
It's just the depth. Jack, you're right. I mean, like, you see these big, pretty names like Zeke and Debo and, like, Kirk, but, like, when you have 4 really good players and you're starting Jarvis Landry, I mean, it's tough pickings.
Look,
it's tough pickings.
Some folks here said Jarvis could be a league winner. That's yet to be decided if he'll win the league for him.
But, like, when you're streaming 4 positions and you have, like 5 studs, like, you're doing well, but it's like, do you have the ability to penetrate through something? If he was sitting there, let's put it, if K. Cole was in Dustin's spot at 6-2, then I'd say, you know what, he'd have more of a chance of going forward, obviously, than Dustin is. But for K. Cole to penetrate up, I keep using that word, I know it's sexual, but to just penetrate in there and, like, break through it and, like, get past me and Dustin, it would be...
I think about K. Cole penetration a lot.
I mean, I'm thinking about it a lot right now because he's got me worried about it.
Thrusting.
What if he just thrusts and penetrates through and he's just up in there? But, I mean, it would take a lot for that to happen. I think you have more of a chance... All right, there's more of a chance of... Well, no, I take it back. No one's penetrating Port Jihad. I think he's just there. But, yeah, no one's penetrating Hebrew Hammer either. A whole lot of penetration is going to happen in K-Hole's holes, so...
Well, we'll see, and we'll probably know more next week, and the picture will be even more clear. So, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, Head and Shoulders Shampoo. They brought us on. It's an official sponsor for their official fantasy football podcast, as is Aquafina Water. So make sure to go give them, tweet at them just blindly on Twitter and tell them that you really love this show. So that's going to be it for today.
ANF. Quick cold close.
Yeah.
Just to pivot really quick, and so I can toot my horn even more for the Dynasty League.